Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Alex, and in this video we're going to talk about one of my latest acquisitions. If you watched any of my previous videos, you probably already know that I'm a huge fan of Cartier and their beautiful watches. I made plenty of videos regarding the Santos, my Must tank and others. And in this video, I'm going to show you my latest acquisition, or one of my latest acquisitions, that is a quite rare watch from the Tank family, and it's the Tank Chinoise. And this watch was bought in the end of last year, and when I saw it on an auction, I knew I had to pull the trigger, because this watch is quite exotic as it is. There are not many Tank Chinoise available at all on Chrono24, for example. Right now, when I'm recording this video, there are only 11 examples of different versions of the Tank Chinoise. And last year, 2022, when Watches and Wonders was held in Geneva, Cartier released their new Tank Chinoise collection in the Collection Privé line. And that was done at the 100th anniversary of the model. So originally the first Tank Chinoise was released in 1922. So this is an old design. It's one of those early Cartier watch designs that they released during the Art Deco era. And this was released at the time when wristwatches wasn't really that popular yet. And I mean, if you just look at the different models Cartier has introduced in their portfolio during the last century, it's impressive, and they have always been in the forefront of playing with shape, playing with different design elements, inspired by different architectures around the world. And that is the case with the Tank Chinoise. It's inspired by the Chinese architecture, and as you can see clearly in the design of the watch. So during the years, they have released this watch in a couple of different versions. From the original 1922 version, they released a manual winding one in the 70s. This piece is from the 80s, so it's a quartz-powered one. They released some limited editions in the 90s, and in 2003 they released the CPCP version, and CPCP stands for Collection Privé Cartier Paris. And that was basically the latest version they did, and that was back in 2003, so 20 years ago, until they released the new Tank Chinoise during Watches and Wonders last year. What I like about this watch is that it's a classic cased Cartier tank that is somewhat a mix between the Tank Normal and the Tank Louis. It's quite characteristic and bold in its design, with this horizontal brancards going across the case. You can clearly see the Chinese inspiration or the Asian inspiration from the architecture, even though the case is sized at the classic dimensions that are 23 by 30 millimeters. This watch wears substantially smaller, and that's because the dial has less presence due to the horizontal brancards that run across the case. But this is a super classic Cartier. It's 18 karat yellow gold, white lacquered dial with Roman numerals and the blued hands. It has a mix between satin finished and polished elements, so you can see satin finish on the horizontal lines and on the case sides, and there's an angle at the case. The horizontal brancards are polished, so it gives quite a nice appearance, and it hits the light differently throughout the case, which I like. So there's a lot of facets. There's mix between satin finished and polished, which is very nice. So powered by quartz movement, it's relatively thin. I haven't measured it, but it slides under the cuff easily. No issues at all there. 17 millimeters between, or 17.5 actually, which is quite an odd measurement. That is the case for most vintage Cartier tanks. Probably could fit an 18 millimeter strap on this one if I'd like, or a 17. I don't think it would look either bad with each of them. Right now it's on the original strap, which is a glossy alligator strap. I'll probably change it to something more casual, but I like to have, like, this is my go-to suit watch nowadays, but I like to dress it down and wear it with casual clothing, as I am right now as well, because for me the Tank is not necessarily a dress watch in the type of way we see them today, because back then, I mean, of course you dressed very differently according to today's standards, but I like to see a yellow gold Cartier Tank, regardless of the model, on a more casual strap preferably pigskin or shell cordovan, together with a t-shirt and jeans. I think that look is just a killer look. So there's not so much information about these watches out there actually, and I mean, it's a quite rare watch from the Cartier Tank family, especially if you look at Chrono 24, only 11 listings in total, where the majority is early 2000 versions, similar to the CP1, but usually with diamonds on the case. Also, of course, the grey market dealers have some of the new limited editions available for sale as well. They have made a couple of different versions, so as I mentioned, except from the original from 1922, they have made one with the manual winding movement in the 70s, with Paris signed on the dial. Then they did a couple of limited editions during the 90s. They made a version called the Chinoise allongé, which is a rectangular version basically of this model with a lacquered case as well. So that's some cues you see now from the latest limited editions that was released last year. So yeah, I mean, for me, this is just a very interesting piece, even though it's quartz. That doesn't really bother me at all. And I like the fact that it's quite rare, and what made me pull the trigger wasn't really the scarcity of the watch, it was basically this beautiful condition. This one is unpolished, and you can also see a lot of patina oxidization on the case, and I just find that very charming with old gold watches that are unpolished and haven't been used really so much, that you can see these rosy patina on the case and also the oxidization on the case, and it just adds so much character to the watch in my opinion. So yeah guys, that's just a quick recap of my latest purchase and what I like about it, and let me know in the comments how you feel towards this watch. I know this might not be the fan favorite because of the case shape. I think people in general prefer the Tank Louis Cartier or the Tank Normal, but I just find this one very charming, and it's a piece that I can see that stays in my collection for a long time ahead. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit me up with your thoughts on this watch in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.